Hi, welcome to You Time. This is Synne. I wanted to focus today's topic on sleep and how important it is to us. The purpose of this podcast is to give you little tips and tools on how you can take care of yourself so that you can be your best self in order to take care of other people and your other responsibilities. So I know for most people, sleep is one of the most underrated things that we can do to take care of ourselves, but it is truly important. My mother used to always say to me, "You'll feel better after a good night's sleep." And while that's not the only factor in making me feel better, there's definitely some truth to it. So thanks, Mom. There are lots of books written about this and lots of information about there and lots of studies. So I'm not going to try to take ownership for these guidelines, but I thought, hey, if you're listening to my podcast, I might as well provide you some tips for it. So there's some, general guidelines about how much sleep and how to get that kind of sleep. And I believe that for adults, the general guidelines are about 7 to 9 hours a day. I know that's really hard when you are taking care of kids or taking care of elders or have work deadlines or want to make time to squeeze in that workout, all those things that make you feel good. But fundamentally, it's really tricky to do all of those things if you are not getting a good night's sleep. So general guideline again for adults is 7 to 9 hours. Kids, I believe it's more, and you can get better sleep when your kids are sleeping. Talking about sleep, why do kids fight us so much on naps? As a grown-up, I feel like naps are the best thing ever. I just don't know why, we get to be like 3 years old and fight them tooth and nail, and then we don't discover how great they are again until our adulthood. But naps, we just have to be careful not to take them too close to our normal bedtime, or else we can end up having difficulty sleeping. So another guideline for getting a good night's sleep is to try to go to sleep at the same time every night. I know this is really hard, again, with different schedules. Maybe you work jobs that require you to be awake during the night, and I know this is really hard for people. I did this for 1 year when I was in graduate school, and it was really difficult. So trying to get to bed at the same time every night, and that actually includes weekends. I know it's hard. I don't do it. I tend to stay up later on the weekends, but my body clock still wants to wake up at 5 o'clock, so that leaves me pretty tired the next day. And most likely, if I can, I will try to take a nap. A lot of people say, get yourself ready for bed for, 10 o'clock and set your alarm for 6 a.m. and try to get up at the same time every day, like I said, even on the weekends. So what can you do to kind of get yourself ready for sleep? There are lots of tips about this. Try to avoid caffeine. It's all kind of up to you and, your time limit for how late in the day you can have caffeine before it interrupts your sleep. I know for me, it's typically like after 3 o'clock. If I have anything with caffeine in it, it's much harder for me to go to sleep. So sometimes in the evening, especially when it's chilly out and I just want to feel cozy, I'll make myself a cup of herbal tea. I know Celestial Seasonings has some great teas, and I really like the stress relief tea from Yogi. So sometimes that just helps me get cozy and a little sleepy, and it can help me feel a little bit more ready for bed. I'm also not great at following some of these other guidelines myself. One of them is to not watch TV too close to bedtime. I often find myself watching TV too close to bedtime, and I know it can kind of overstimulate my brain, especially if it's a really heavy or a show that makes me think a lot. I'll get into bed and find myself, thinking about it or wondering what future episodes will bring or trying to analyze sections or portions of the show. So I know for me, it's probably best not to watch TV after 9 p.m. or within a half an hour of when I want to go to bed. Reading is a healthier way to go to bed, actually. So if you If you need to unwind a little bit and you like reading, it stimulates your brain, but not the same level of TV or other electronics. Speaking of electronics, apparently they are really, really bad for our brains to be checking our emails or looking on Instagram or on Facebook or whatever your favorite social media is. There's a lot of research that the lights from the screen really kind of stimulate our brain and make it more active and can cause interferences with sleep. Also, if you have your notifications on at night and your brain is hearing those little dings or vibrations or whatever it may be, while you may not realize it, it's still interfering with your REM sleep. I'm really fortunate that I have shared custody with my son, and when he is with his dad, I know that he's being well cared for, and I actually put my phone in do not disturb mode. I do have favorites, so if they're trying to get a hold of me during an emergency, it will ring a couple of times and then go through if that same person is trying to call or text you. So you can put people in your favorites and go into do not disturb mode. I love it, so I don't hear my vibrations going off in the middle of the night for people texting or calling. My best friend often works nights, and he likes to send me little texts about what's going on with his day, and they're all there waiting for me when I wake up in the morning, but I used to hear them go off at night, and it really impacted my sleep schedule. So for now, I don't turn it off, but I put it in do not disturb, and I try not to look at it too close to bedtime. Having said that, there definitely have been nights when I've gotten myself into bed, sometimes without even setting my alarm, and I wake up at some point in the middle of the night, mid-text or sometimes mid-shopping, asleep with my iPhone in my hand and my lights on, and that is just not a good practice. So one of the things, because I do have these sleep issues, one of the things that I found really helpful is putting on a nighttime sleep meditation. Probably for about 4.5 years, I've been listening to the same one almost every single night. It's an app that I downloaded. It's called I Sleep Easy. I think it's about $4, but since I've been using it almost nightly, it's so well worth it. So there is a little meditation that I listen to, and 9 times out of 10, I'm asleep like within the first 5 minutes of listening to it. So I'm trying to think, I know there's a zillion more, having your room set at a certain temperature that's ideal for sleeping. I think it's like 65 degrees, having blinds so that the light doesn't come in the morning when it's too early. I know for me, I actually don't have blinds on right now, and in the winter time, I like actually having the sunlight wake me up in the morning. And there's other studies that say that conclusively the bedroom is for 3 things, and that is sleep, reading, and sex, and not necessarily in that order. I do not have a TV in my room. There's several reasons for that, but the only things I like to keep in my room are books and water and my phone in do not disturb. So I'm sure you all have little tips and tricks that help you get a good night's sleep. So feel free to email them to me at utime2019@gmail. That's utime2019@gmail. If you have topics for future self-care, U-Time-like topics, send them my way. You can also follow me on Instagram at Synne Wing, or follow me on Twitter at Synne Wing. And I hope you subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thanks a lot, and I hope you get a good night's rest and that you're feeling extra chipper tomorrow.